Fireback 2024. Fireback is a backend framework based on Golang, Java, and a few other kind of technologies, but mainly Golang, which you can create backend and mobile apps, like mainly native apps and hybrid desktop app sometimes, and the web application itself in React or Angular, but in minutes. So we don't want to do things like which gonna take months. We would like to create software which has a very high quality, at the same time is delivered very fast, and it is not subject to be rewritten so often or at all. And this is something very rare in the software industry, especially those software houses and outsourcing, which I try to solve. Now, without further ado, I'd like to go and show you how I'm gonna make a project. This sample project is gonna be ad manager. So we will be kind of creating a project that people can come and order advertising across the city on the billboards and those areas, maybe like buses, and kind of want to manage that hypothetically. What I would do first is I would copy the Fireback starter into Ad Manager. Fireback is something that holds all of those codes, and we just take a copy of it. Although we could continue inside of it, but let's say this is a client and we want to kind of isolate the code they use. I'm gonna go and quickly check. Okay, there is not much here. Is here. All right. What I would do first is I'm gonna reconfigure the project and call it an ad manager, and then ADM for the binary, and let's say this is ad manager as description. What happens is basically now project has been changed into ad manager, and we have this kind of new files generated for us, and like renaming and those things which are necessary. What I'm gonna do is just make the project. That's all. I'm gonna make it. It should not take so long, a few seconds usually for the Golang to compile. And what I would like to do is to show you what you get in the beginning. So this is our backend, and the backend comes with the HTTP server, but also a CLI. So whatever you can do on HTTP server, for example, sign in, sign up, log in, all those things you can do also on CLI. And this is really a powerful thing which a lot of backend projects misses. I'm gonna do an init and call this an ad manager, and then select the SQLite. We could configure it for MySQL, Postgres. Also come other like SQL Server databases for enterprise, but for now, like these four options, and I'm gonna choose what I did, like gRPC port, HTTP port, the folder of the files, and the file uploader server. Now all of them are in place. You see, when we start a Fireback project, it comes with notifications like user management, role permissions, capabilities, and all those things. But we also need to do some kind of like sitters. So the sitters are a set of content which comes initially, like the locations, and a couple of them are like necessary, a couple of them are not necessary. For example, time zone is something which I believe is not necessary, but we need to, if we need it, we can sync it, and we will have the information about time zones like this. Now the query language comes with it, with everything, is kind of good. You have pagination, you have filters and query DSL on everything, translations, and the localization is already made. Just you see, like in these 4 minutes, we have a fully working functional backend, but I'm just gonna go and create a new module and call it ad core. So the ad core is gonna be a module that we are gonna use, and where is it gone? Okay, here. So we're gonna use this as like the holder of the functionality we want to add. And one more thing is, you see like there is a YAML definition file. Now for the backend, we just do not start on kind of writing backend. Rather, we will create kind of a definition like this, and it requires we think about it and see, okay, what kind of relations the data is going to have and what kind of features we want. This YAML module tree file is very complex. It's going to take many hours to discuss, but I'm just going to go in right away, try to pick up the sample like from the demo I prepared before. And you see like we have an add installer, add status like is pending, active, or whatever, and then the add place and the location of that add, like is it a bus or is it like a billboard in city, and then the add place owner, add, and periods, like what time amount of the time will be available on which locations, and all of those kind of definitions. Real quick, if I want to show you for example, workspace module, which has the definition of like permissions and lots of operations, can go really wild and so many lines of definitions, and very complex. In fact, in some projects, not even here, you will see like much more complexity in some other things I have done before. But for now, just note the idea that it's gonna be a set of configuration, like you set the data type, add a status, or like the relation between them. If it's an array, it's a relation that you will place in data in the database itself. And the point is, all of these relations that you create here will be eventually kind of relation on the database. It's not going to be a MongoDB or NoSQL. It's going to be very normalized situation later on the code. Now I just go and copy this for now and put it in here, and I'm trying to also show something here. You see like there are two files here, but immediately when I like run the code, it's gonna be all these files generated. So this is the code I'm gonna write. This is the code Fireback has written for me, and it can go up to 3,000 lines for the complex objects. And this is like covering a lot of things, you know, like validations from CLI, catches, and all in all those details which a real software really needs. Now, there are three things I have to do. Like I would need to set the actions, entities, and the CLI providers, but I did that before, in fact, and I'm just gonna go and copy real quick, give an explanation what it is. You see like the permissions we need to add, like when an entity is created, there are some basic like permissions set has been generated for it. We tell it the system, and then there are some actions like get, post, whatever, query, and those things on the HTTP, and like the migration, and finally the CLI of that thing. If I try to save this now, and I'm just gonna go and like make the project, let's say, and we will see that there will be a lot of things created. So let's just call ADM, and you would see like those modules here. The reason you don't see it at this moment is we need to finally just include that module, and I'm gonna call it add core setup module, or add core module setup. Yeah, I'm sorry. And what I'm gonna make this is gonna be available there. But at the same time, I would really like to open the React test bed, like clients and React test bed, and then code, open it to show an idea of what it can do actually, and to have it in mind from the client perspective. We will type ADM, and you see like the add installer, add status, add place, all is there. For example, add place T is going to show like the name and the location ID if we had any data on it. Now, interesting thing is, let's say we finished our backend and we're gonna go and give it to a front-end team. We just go and write ADM gen React, and path will be clients, React bed, src, SDK, and then no cache, true. But just saying that, what happened is basically we created a lot of code on the SDK, and like those definitions automatically became like available on the TypeScript part. So for example, if I go into a test file and let's say like sign up test, if I create, let's see if the JS and TS will be fine there. Let's say if I wanted to get the ads, I could just easily say use get ads, and yeah, and all those kind of like relation between backend and frontend is already solved, and I have all of the definitions here. No matter how complex it gets, we will have such information about the childs and all of them. So if any changes happens on the backend and we just update the definitions, it's gonna break down and never let a bad code on the front end or Android or Swift gonna be hurting that. So we would have also the entity itself. We have like some navigation helpers like URLs that usually go wrong over time. People change it. There's completely a scenario for that, and also the fields are available as a string when you want to update a field, for example on Formic, and also the definition is available if you wanted more information about that on the front end to do some dynamic loading or so. Now this is also a complex topic, that like creating these files, and you see like it's a lot of files like for deleting, patching, bulk patch, and posting, and like, and this is madness. Like it handles also the socket and the error handling, and is a readable code generated, and also manages the store, so you don't need Redux for anymore in any project, and it's just gonna reduce like up to 80% of the time. Like if you wanted to build an app on 4 months in React, you just do it in a month with this, even without the React Iron or React Native Iron template. Just you can do whatever you want because of all these information available to you. And if I wanted to go, in fact, it was quick as well. I could show that there is the same thing for the Android, and I'm gonna like put clients, React bed, source, SDK, like Android, let's call it, and then no cache true. You will see that there is another folder here, and the same scenario goes for the Android. Like all these ad core things has been generated, and the code to communicate with the backend is there, and also the entities and definitions, and really many things are in fact created. For example, this entity and the form and all the children is also accessible. Tools for converting it to JSON, getting it from JSON, which would reduce a lot of time. Now the generator has a lot of things. Actually we have support for C#, Flutter, Angular, Qt, Svelte, Vue.js, Postman also, and SwiftUI, and like whatever else you want to. And it is easy to add those kind of supports. And the code here does not use gRPC. It is like purely handmade, and you don't have to deal with the problems of gRPC if you want to use this. I don't want to go to details of the features actually it provides. For example, ADM workspaces, what you can do workspace, like user belongs to a workspace, what the permission is, like querying it, pivoting, and like so many things, and there it's gonna be hours and hours. But the point is, we created a fully functional backend, which is fastest possible in the market. We build it the fastest way. We have very good definition of it, and like there is not much to it. It doesn't have any dependencies. It can work with all relational databases, almost even maybe Oracle with some modifications. And yeah, it's perfectly clean. And if you just check one file and learn like how this file looks like, everything else is similar to that. There is no way to get lost. And of course, if you change this definition, like add a field or anything as much as complex, even the regeneration works just fine. You will have that field, so it's not a one-time thing, rather it just manages the code for you. Thank you for your consideration, and I wish you luck. I hope everything goes well with your project. If you have any interest, you might be contacting me and I can help you through building your next app.